These are the newest wireless earbuds from Apple's Beats lineup, the PowerBeats Pro 2. And this is coming 6 years after the launch of the first iteration of this product. People have been waiting a very long time for them. And there's a whole bunch of new features. It's got better audio. It's got wireless charging, active noise cancellation. It's got a heart rate sensor built right into the buds themselves. It's lighter, it's more comfortable. Everything's new. However, despite all those amazing features, I find this thing surprisingly underwhelming. Okay, let's get into it. The main differentiating feature about the PowerBeats Pro lineup is that these have ear hooks. These are not common anymore. I think the world has moved to just like different shaped tips, but these have the hook, which allows it to have a very secure fit when you're wearing it for kind of rigorous physical activity. If you're working out or running or mountain biking or just doing like inverted aerial maneuvers, this hook will keep this bud securely in place. And also, these have physical control. So you have volume controls as well as a button to activate the different modes. And these volume control buttons and action buttons are present on both the left and right buds. Now the hooks themselves, they're not meant to be like bent and wrapped around. They just go right over your ear and they just stay in this kind of shape and form, but they're very comfortable to wear. Now the rubber tips that make the inner seal are definitely a harder rubber on the PowerBeats Pro 2 than on the AirPods Pro 2. So this is Apple's like kind of regular flagship product, and this is just a much more softer rubber, but they're still, I would say, equal in comfort. It's just, I think the harder rubber is there to prevent just wear. I think this is like a more fitness oriented product, and there's like a lot more sweat and ickiness, so stronger rubber. Now, inside the package, when you get this, you do get 5 different sizes. So you get the one that's on there already, plus 4 other tips, and it's just to give a more precise fit for the user. And in terms of sound quality, I think the Apple AirPods Pro 2, at least for me, is like the gold standard of wireless earbud audio quality. The PowerBeats Pro 2, they don't sound as good, but they kind of sound as you would expect. It's a Beats product, the audio is just a little more playful, stronger bass, and more emphasized treble. And when I measure them, it's not like a flat studio profile, it's obviously shaped more like a V, but it's done with intent. Having just fatter bass and more pronounced trebles is something that people actually seek. I actually like the sound, it's just that's what they're going for. It's very on brand for Beats.
This is being recorded from the mic of the PowerBeats Pro 2. I think they sound okay, nothing special. And this is the mic quality on Apple's AirPod Pro 2. I think they sound very similar. I don't think I'd be able to choose a winner.
There's also Apple's H2 chip in here. So that handles the active noise cancellation. It also handles transparency mode, so you can have it on. You can hear your environments. If you're running, you can hear cars and stuff. It also handles spatial audio, so for movies and shows. But the big thing really is that active noise cancellation, because that was the feature that the owners of the first one really wanted, and it's finally here. Now, ANC on this product is a mixed bag. For sounds that are just like environmental, I want to call it white noise, but like a steady, constant background sound. So like a treadmill that's going, or like an air conditioner, or if you're on a plane, this product handles it pretty well. So I think Apple's AirPods Pro 2 handles it particularly well. If this was a 10 on like the scale of how well it handles that type of noise cancellation, this would be like I'd say an 8. Maybe an 8.5, but I'd say 8. But when it comes to more random noises, so like a clap or a sudden bang. So I was at the gym with these things on, and you could hear people dropping weights and just machines clanking. That type of sound, that random sound, is handled really poorly on this device. And if I'm being honest, very disappointed, because this has the same H2 chip as what we see in Apple's AirPod Pro 2, and this thing had amazing noise cancellation capabilities. How does this newer product not do it as good? Now, the thing that kills me is that Apple has all the patents, all the technology, all the IPs to make this thing the best of the best in terms of ANC, right? And it's a fitness product. Those are the users that would want it the most. People going to the gym, people running on streets, you just want to like tune out the world. This, in my mind, should have the best ANC, but it doesn't, unfortunately. Now, the other feature I want to talk about, the last big one, is the heart rate sensor. So it's an optical heart rate sensor. It's present on both the left and right bud, and it's located on the bottom of each bud, and these things shine a light that presses right into this part of your ear. Now it's an optical sensor, so it shoots a very bright green light that you actually can see when it's in use. The heart rate sensors seem fairly accurate when I compared it with the Polar chest strap. It was off by like 1 or 2 BPM, so I'd say that's pretty good. But the thing I really dislike about this whole heart rate sensor thing built in here is that it is very difficult to even check your heart rate. So I have to launch an app, click around in a few things in order to just see that heart rate. So right now I ran a fitness app, and obviously I'm not working out, but just the number right there, 77 beats per minute. So there's just so much friction to be able to do that. Like I can't just like be listening to music, walking down the street and be like, hey, what's my heart rate? Pick up my phone and look. I have to do the whole app launch and just go around in the app. And it's also only supported by a handful of apps right now. So this to me feels so unlike an Apple product. Apple devices and the whole ecosystem is usually really frictionless, but this requires apps and like sign-ins into third-party apps to be able to make this, I don't know. It just feels superfluous considering how like present smartwatches and fitness trackers are for anybody who cares about this kind of stuff. And one other thing, when you are monitoring your heart rate with these buds, it drains battery a lot faster. I did a test where I did 2 hours of heart rate tracking versus 2 hours of just audio listening, and it's a really significant difference. You can also connect it to Bluetooth-enabled gym equipment like treadmills and ellipticals. The new case is lighter and smaller than the previous generation, but it's still a fairly chunky case, especially if you compare it to like the regular AirPods Pro cases. And it has USB-C charging, which is nice to see, and also supports wireless charging. The PowerBeats Pro 2 has a wicked long battery life. This thing has 10 hours of battery life per charge and up to 45 hours if you include the power reserve that's in the case. And this new case and charging system solves what I think was the biggest issue I had with the original PowerBeats. It's that you can charge this so easily now. So you can just casually drop it in and it just charges. You can even hold this thing upside down and it'll just charge because the magnets are strong and it's just way better than the charging system of the old one. That one was so finicky and you just had to like jostle it around to make it work, but they fixed that. Now, there's a few negatives to this product. So the first thing that I talked about was the ANC not being strong enough. The second thing I think is that the heart rate sensor is not nearly as useful as I would want it to be. And I think it's no fault of the product itself. I just think it's the idea of it. It's like, how many people are really using something like that in 2025? But the biggest thing for me is the price point. This thing is $250 US, and that's what the original one launched for, but this is 6 years later. The market is so much more competitive in the wireless earbud space. There are so many good fitness-focused wireless earbuds that are like $100 cheaper than this, if not more. So you have to ask yourself, is that heart rate sensor really worth that price premium that they're demanding? And I think for most people, it really isn't. It's just so many good options now. But there you have it. That's the PowerBeats Pro